All right, good morning, students. Let's go over how to grade your Regents exam. So this is going to be after everything is done. You've completed the multiple choice. You've completed the part two, the part B, 2, and C. That's the written section. Let's actually understand how to score this. Okay. The first thing you have to do is go to the scoring key. It says for teachers only, but it's not a big deal because this exam is old, so you're free to use it. You scroll down and you start looking here. You can see how, for instance, for question 51, it says allow 1 credit for grid 1 showing an inverse and grid 2 showing a direct relationship. Okay, so if yours doesn't look exactly like this, you can't give yourself the 1 credit. It's a 0, unfortunately. Okay, so that's like an example of a question where it's just very straightforward. Either it looks like this or it doesn't look like this, and you get the credit or don't get the credit. All right, how about this one? For question 52, you can see how there are multiple correct responses. Multiple correct responses. I'm having all of you, in the live session today, and we're going to do this together. But here's a situation where coming to the live session is really helpful because you may have given an answer that's similar to this, and you're not quite sure. But notice how it says acceptable responses include, but are not limited to. So not limited to is the key word there. You could have wrote something that's similar to this that's still correct. So if you're doing this by yourself, which you likely are if you didn't come to the live session, then you're going to have to use your best judgment. All right, just use your best judgment. So these are 4 possible answers, but there are potentially more answers if yours sounds like it. Okay, so all right, here's another common question. It says allow 1 credit if the X is within or touches the clear region of the moon's orbit. So if your X is anywhere here in this boxed region, that is acceptable for spring tide. It said, what's another location for a spring tide? So if it's anywhere in there, you get full credit. You can see here with the moon phase, you can see how even if it's tilted, they'll give you a correct response. Even if it's tilted up the exact same way, that's still a correct response. But the perfect response is, of course, this here. Okay, a waning gibbous. All right. You can see here where the X should be. There's only one location. Okay, so things like that. Oh, I'm sorry. It says allow 1 credit if the center of the X is on or touches the dashed line. I'm sorry. So if your X is anywhere along, I'm sorry about that. If it's anywhere along this dashed line, that's a correct answer. Okay. So those are some examples of how you might grade this. Notice how there are some notes here. Do not allow credit for smooth alone. Okay, so you want to keep that in mind. Sometimes there's notes for specific things they will not allow. Same thing here. Do not allow credit for chlorine, okay? Because this is the name of the element and not the chemical symbol. So it wanted the chemical symbol, not the name. That's a thing. And also, even here's something small. CL, capital. That's not correct because that's not how chemicals are named. It's always uppercase, lowercase. All right, so little things like that. Okay, so you go through this. This is basically the answer key. You go through it, you grade yours, and you're going to come up with a score out of 35 because there are 35, 51 through 85. There are 35 answers here. So if we do the math, there are 50 multiple choice questions. So you had a score out of 50 for the multiple choice. And then you get another 35 potential points. So the total possible points for the written section of this test is 85. So you should have a score out of 85. You have to add the multiple choice plus however many you got for the written section for part B2 and part C. You add that together. Let's just say that I add mine, let's say I get 35 multiple choice questions correct. And let's say I get, I don't know, let's say 23 out of 35. So I got 58. So my final score is 58 out of 85 because 85 is the total number of points. The next thing you have to do is go over to the score conversion chart. I have the score conversion chart right here. You come over to the score conversion chart, and now you're looking for your written test score over here on the left. And mine was 58. So 58 is over here. Here's 58. Okay. And basically this entire row here are all the possible scores that you could get. Okay. So the highest possible score is an 83. Your score is based on a performance test that you did not take, that you will not take because we're not in school and the Regents is canceled. So for all of us, we can just assume that you get somewhere between 16 and 13. You maybe 16 and 12. That's typical, what students get. So if you want to just, kind of do the median. So if you want to assume a performance test score of 14, you do 14 and you find that for me, it's 58. So there it is, 82. That's my final score. Okay. So that's how you calculate a final score. We're just going to assume 14. And that's a perfectly reasonable assumption, honestly, for any student, because the performance test is very, very easy. So, okay. So that's it. If you have any questions about how to score this or how to use the scoring key, please email me. But I'm hoping to see all of you there for the live session so we can do it together.